Any difficulties so far about learning this anatomical schematic method? Whenever you come to the college, I will again demonstrate you what are these books and how they are arranged. If you have any difficulty, please share with me on WhatsApp. So we'll continue with this anatomical schematic method. So there are basically 10 methods, 10 popular methods of different ways of study of materia medica, and I just enlisted those methods. And we are studying this first method, first popular method, anatomical schematic method. We have studied. It is introduced by Dr. Samuel Hahnemann. It is popularized by T.F. Allen, popularized by Constantine Hering. We have studied its details of this method. We have studied the example. We have also studied the merit and demerit. So, what format we have decided to learn? I have completed all those headings. In the similar manner, we will proceed to another method, that is keynote method. Now, this keynote method, we'll see, but remember, before learning that keynote method, remember the demerits, that it is impossible to grasp all the materia medica mentioned in this anatomical schematic method. The second method which we are going to study, that is the keynote method, it is because of this. It is because of this important disadvantage of this method. The second method is keynote method. Now, the first method which we have discussed, it was popular during the early days, but slowly, as the people have become lazy, as the people, as the homeopathic students, as the homeopathic physicians stop doing hard work, they required certain shortcuts. They required certain aid which will help to grasp the materia medica in a very few hours, few minutes, or they want to find out certain shortcuts of learning this materia medica. And at that time, the great person William Jefferson Guernsey has introduced the system of keynote system of study of homeopathic materia medica. And the reason for introducing this method was because the earlier disadvantage of anatomical schematic method is that it was very hectic, tedious, laborious, eye straining. Even to study a small drug like arnica, it will require weeks together. But and because of that all tedious method, some shortcuts were required to study materia medica, and accordingly, this great person, William Jefferson Guernsey, has applied his thought process and has started developing some new ideas in his mind, and which has finally resulted into this keynote method. That we'll see what exactly this keynote method is, and then this method was popularized by Constantine Lippi and H.C. Allen. So just remember this name, memorize these names, because all these names have a lot of impact on the homeopathic materia medica. C. Lippe is Constantine Lippe, H.C. Allen is Henry Allen. So this keynote method introduced by Guernsey, and it was later on popularized by Constantine Lippe, H.C. Allen. Now, what exactly this keynote method means? So, for learning actually this keynote method, we'll have to first understand what exactly is the meaning of keynote. What is the meaning of keynote? Now, this keynote word is taken from musical field. We all are fans of Bollywood songs, Hollywood, not Hollywood songs, but the Bollywood songs. And it has been criticized that the Indian peoples are so much habituated to this music. The music is a inseparable part of Indian persons. So when we listen to all these songs, when we listen to our classical music, there is a one common thing. Classical music means rag. Rag is, I don't know, it's a rag. It is in the classical music. There are various examples of rag. And when we listen to this rag, when we listen to this Bollywood songs, when we listen to the even to the Hollywood rock songs or Hollywood rock bands, there is one thing is common, that all these songs, all these ragas are based upon certain basic foundation, and that certain basic foundation is nothing but sargam, or is nothing but the keynote of that music. Now, because of this keynote of this music, what happens? There are two or three stanzas of the song, and one stanza, second stanza, and third stanza. All these stanzas are interlinked with each other on the basis of certain keynote, or on the basis of certain sargam, and that sargam is a boundary of that specific song. If you see the various realities music show, you will better understand that वो लोग बोलते हैं ना कि सुर थोड़ा ऊपर गया, सुर थोड़ा नीचे आ गया. मुझे थोड़ा उतना नॉलेज नहीं है, but this keynote is that referring to that musical field. So keynote is that basic tune of that song rag, around which the whole song is revolving. The whole rag is evolving. For example, I will not take example. So that is, you understand the keynote words refer to the musical field, and in the musical field there are certain basic keynotes around which, on the basis of that keynote, the various songs are evolved and created. So this word keynote refers to the musical field, and when it comes to the field of homeopathic mathematics, now this keynote refers to the just a similarity like that of keynote in the music, as a keynote in a song is which runs throughout the various stanzas, various part of the songs. Similarly, these are the characteristics which runs throughout the remedy. So as in the music, that keynote, that sargam, that rag is inseparable. You cannot remove that rag, you cannot remove that sargam from that basic song. Similarly, in a remedy, in a drug, in a medicine, with whatever you study, there is some characteristic which is running throughout the remedy. If you study the head symptoms, that symptom will be present. If you study the eye symptom, that symptom will be present. If you study the symptoms related to back, symptoms related to abdomen, whatever part you name, that characteristic will be there. For example, our first drug, Arnica montana. The keynote of that Arnica montana is whatever the part there the symptoms are there. There is sensation, that sore, lame, bruised feeling. So if you read it under head, there will be sore, lame, bruised feeling all over the head. If you go to the eye, sore, lame, bruised feeling in the eye, as if as if these eyes are bitter. If you go to the chest, sore, lame, bruised feeling in the chest. So you whatever part you go, the same characteristic which will run throughout the remedy. So that is the meaning of keynote in the homeopathic materia medica. Another example I will take, burning in case of arsenic album. This burning will be running commonly throughout the remedy, running commonly throughout the various parts, throughout the various headings of that arsenic album, and so on. So that is the meaning of keynote. And the keynote is music we have understood. Then keynote in our homeopathic materia medica is nothing but the characteristic symptom which runs throughout that remedy, and that's why that word is used. That is, this is the keynote of this remedy. Then the most popular work in this keynote method is Allen's keynote. And if you read the preface of this Allen's keynote, that in this Allen's keynote, H.C. Allen explains further what is the meaning of this keynote. So H.C. Allen uses three words to describe the meaning of keynote. Is that it is a pivotal point, it is a central wrap of fiber, or it is a familiar landmark. Now, pivotal point means it is a center point, or it is the point around which all other symptoms are revolving. Now, if you see a rope or if you see a fiber, there is a one central thread around which all other fibers are revolving. So, it is a familiar landmark. So, for example, we'll take an example of again the same remedies, arsenic and arnica montana. So in the arsenic or in the arnica montana, this sore, lame, bruised feeling all over body as if bitten. It is a pivotal point. It runs throughout the remedy. Around this central wrap, all other symptoms of various parts will be revolving. That means in addition to this sensation, the other symptoms will be there. And to identify the arnica among all this part, just you have to remember that wherever there is this sore, lame, bruised feeling as is bitten, irrespective of the part, you have to memorize, yes, it is a arnica. So it is nothing but a familiar landmark in the that remedy like arnica. Same thing is burning of arsenic. Wherever you go in the arsenic, whatever symptom of a part you read of arsenic, you will find out this burning. And then this burning in that arsenic becomes pivotal point, central wrap of fiber, familiar landmark of the arsenic, and so on and so on. So you understand what is the meaning of keynote. Then stalwarts like Constantine Herring again explains this keynote method by using this term three-legged stool. Now, what is this three-legged stool is? Nothing but it is a mixture of one mental general, one physical general, and one particular symptom of a remedy. These three symptoms will usually become keynote of a remedy. And this term three-legged stool has come very later in the field of materia medica, when this keynote system was criticized by saying that ye sab kuch chal raha hai, it is all wrong, it is all criticized by saying that it is just only focusing on one symptom and it is neglecting. And then Constantine Herring has come into the support of this keynote system, keynote method, and he has explained that it is not a wrong method, but if you apply this keynote in such a way that this keynote will include one mental general, one physical general, one particular, it will overcome the drawback of focusing on one specific symptom. Then how it is how the actually the books is arranged, that only keynote symptoms are given. There are no headings at all. So just the various keynotes are mentioned one after another. So Allen's keynote is the most familiar example, but recently in the original Allen's keynote there was no headings. The later on the publisher has added the various headings and it is modified. But for our academic purpose, you have to remember the keynotes are given without heading. Only the recent editions or recent editions are given. Then what are the merits of this method? It is concise, precise, it is easy to understand and implement. Why it is said it is a concise and precise? There are, if you read the commentaries by various authors, they say that S.C. Allen, one word of S.C. Allen is equal to a paragraph, is equal to a big one page of aiding guiding symptom of our materia medica, or it is a one paragraph of Kane's lecture on homeopathic materia medica. He was a very miser. Even the minute comma, even the semicolon, all these things he has used very precise. Why this conciseness and preciseness was there? Because of minimizing the labor in studying the homeopathic materia medica. So that is one merit. Another merit is it is easy to understand and it is easy to implement in the practice, because there is no because there is no extra load on our mind to remember the unnecessary things of materia medica. What is implementable, what is most practical, it is all given in this keynote system. And the demerit, this is a very important topic. That is the disadvantages of keynote method. The one disadvantage is that it neglects the totality of symptoms. That is, which is a very important concept of organon, which says that while prescribing, you have to consider the person as a whole and not one or two symptoms which are belonging to his specific part. And because of this point, there are stalwarts like James Tyler Kane has said that the keynote system or keynote method of study of materia medica has been abused by the various stalwarts. And then example of this keynote method is, the most common is keynotes with no source by CLA. Few more are there. I will share with you. But for the time being, let us stop here. Tomorrow we'll see with another method. So out of the 10, we have